Hi, Neville Data here, your pre-service teacher. Welcome. Welcome to our class. But before that, I'd like to have a good background first. Okay. Oh, this is a good background, but I think it is nice to have a better one, right? Yes, this is a better background than the first one. But it is amazing to have a best one. Yes, this is the best background of all. Now, as you have noticed, these three words, good, better, and best, these three words are in connection with our lesson for today. But before that, let's have a recap about adjectives. So, what is adjective? Let's find out. Adjectives are words that are used to help describe or give description to people, places, and things. In other words, adjectives are words that define the noun or pronoun. So, these words here are like size, shape, age, color, origin, material, purpose, feelings, condition, personality, or texture. These are adjectives. It helps to describe the noun or pronoun. Now you know what is an adjective. So, here are some examples. First one. The red shirt is in the closet. As you have noticed here, the red is a bullet word, which means it is an adjective. The red is a color which describes the shirt, the red shirt. Number 2. The strong, healthy man ran the marathon. There are two bulleted words, strong and healthy, which are adjectives that describe the man who ran the marathon. Strong, healthy man. Last 3. The bed is in the corner of my big bedroom. Here, the bulleted word is big, which is defined the bedroom. The bedroom is big. So these examples are adjectives. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, these three words, good, better, and best, are degree of comparison of adjective. So what are those? These are positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. Now let's find out its definition. First one, the positive degree. An adjective is said to be in a positive degree when there is no comparison, which means you are just only describing the noun or pronoun. Now, the comparative. An adjective is said to be in a comparative degree when it is used to compare two nouns or pronouns. It is used to compare two nouns or pronouns, and there's a rules of it. So, let's find out the rules later on. Just like the superlative degree, it is used to compare more than two nouns or pronouns. More than two. And there's a rule of it also. Let's find out the rules now. Now here are the rules. The addition of ER and EST of the passive degree. Here are some examples. The passive word bright, and the comparative word of bright is becomes brighter. We will add ER for comparative, and the superlative of it is brightest. We add EST. Black becomes blacker to blackest. Bold becomes bolder to boldest. Cold becomes colder to coldest. Fast becomes faster to fastest. Great becomes greater to greatest. There's another one. Let's get it. By addition of R and ST to the positive degree ending in E. So, if the positive degree ends with E, we will add R for comparative degree and ST for superlative degree. Here are some examples. The passive word is brave, and the comparative word of it is braver. We add ER, and then superlative of it is bravest. Next is fine becomes finer, fine and then becomes finest. Large becomes larger to largest. Nice becomes nicer to nicest. Noble becomes nobler to noblest. Pale becomes paler to palest. Now let's move on to another rule. When the positive ends in Y and has consonant before it, we change Y into I, then add ER and EST. So we will change we will change Y to I, and then we will add ER if it is comparative, and we will add EST if it is superlative. Here are some examples. For passive, the passive word is costly. The comparative of it becomes costlier. We will change the Y to I, then we add ER, and the superlative of it becomes costliest. Next is to dry, it becomes drier to driest. Easy becomes easier to easiest. Happy becomes happier to happiest. Heavy becomes heavier to heaviest. Lazy becomes lazier to laziest. There's another more. When the passive degree ends in a consonant with a vowel before it, we double the consonant and then add ER and EST. So, if the last letter of the word is consonant, we will double it, and then we will add ER if it is comparative, and we will add EST if it is superlative. Here are some examples. The passive, big, it will become comparative of it is bigger, and the superlative of it is biggest. Next is dim, becomes dimmer to dimmest. Fat becomes fatter to fattest. Hot becomes hotter to hottest. Thin becomes thinner to thinnest. Sad becomes sadder to saddest. Now, there is another one rule. By placing more and most before the passive form. So here it is. Remember, if the last letter of the word is not Y and the syllable of it is 2 or 3. For example, difficult. There are 3 syllables, so we will add more if it is comparative and then most if it is superlative. So here are some examples. Active. The passive word is active. The comparative of it is more active, and the superlative of it becomes most active. Attractive becomes more attractive, and then most attractive. Beautiful to more beautiful becomes most beautiful. brilliant to more brilliant, to become most brilliant. Careful becomes more careful to most careful. Difficult, that's my example, becomes more difficult to most difficult. And last, some adjectives are compared irregularly. So here are some examples. The passive, the word passive bad, and the comparative of it becomes worse, and then the superlative of it becomes worst. Next is good becomes better to best. Far becomes farther to farthest. Little becomes less to least. Late becomes later to latest. Notice this is for time. Lastly, last to later to last, and this is for position. Now, you can identify the differences between the passive degree to comparative degree and to superlative degree. So, let's use it in a sentence. The Pacific Ocean is deeper than the Atlantic Ocean. The first example sentence is we are comparing two nouns. So the rule is that we will add er because we are comparing two nouns, the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. That's why we add the positive degree deep, we add er and it becomes deeper. The Pacific Ocean is deeper than the Atlantic Ocean. Next, the sun is the brightest star of all. Here, the second sentence, brightest. Why? Because we are comparing sun to the all stars. And the positive word bright, we add est and it becomes brightest. The sun is the brightest star of all. Lastly, this is my example earlier, and we add more because difficult has 3 syllables. That's why it is more difficult. And we are only comparing 2 nouns, Japanese and English. Learning Japanese is more difficult than learning English. As we all know now the differences between the 3, let's complete the sentences. Let's try. 1. Mama Bear is the blank of the 3 bears. We will use the positive word soft. Mama Bear is the blank of the 3 bears. Notice here that Mama Bear is compared by 3 bears, which is more than 2. And it is what? It is superlative. So we add est. Then now soft becomes softest. Very good. Next, elephants are blank than horse. And we will use the positive word heavy. So elephants are blank than horse. We're comparing 2 nouns, the elephants and the horse. So the rule, if it is the last letter of the word is Y, we will change Y to I. And if it is comparative, we will add ER. And if it is superlative, we will add EST. So heavy becomes heavier. Next, luxurious hotels are blank. And we will use the positive word expensive. So notice here that we doesn't compare any nouns comparing 2 or more than nouns of the sentence example here. So it's just the same, expensive, because we doesn't compare, we're just only defining the luxurious hotels, which is expensive. Lastly, Bikes are blank than cars, and we use the positive word slow. Bikes are blank than cars. Then, so it is comparative. So we will add our positive word to er, which is comparative. Then slow now becomes slower. It is easy, right? And now, let's review. Adjective. Adjective, a word which defines the noun or pronoun. We're just only describing the noun or pronoun. That is what we call adjective. And the degree of comparison of adjectives, there are three. These are positive. We are just only describing the noun. We don't compare it, just only describing the noun or a pronoun. The comparative, comparing two nouns or pronouns. We are comparing only two nouns or pronouns, and there is a rule of it. We will add er, or we will add more for the positive degree if the last letter of the word is not y and there are two or three syllables of it. That is comparative. Lastly, superlative, comparing more than two nouns or pronouns. So, just like comparative, there's a rule of it in superlative. We will add est or most. It is easy, right? Any questions? Thank you and God bless you. Have a good day.